Listen to me. This message is not for people who are comfortable. This message is for people who are tired. Not physically, but mentally. Tired of trying. Tired of hoping. Tired of believing something will change. This is for the moment. When you sit alone, and even motivation feels fake. When you've prayed, worked, waited, and nothing moved. When people say, just stay positive, but they don't know how heavy your chest feels. When you've done everything you knew how to do, and still came up empty. That's what losing hope feels like. And let me tell you something real. Losing hope doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've been strong for too long. You don't break because you quit early. You break because you kept going when you were already exhausted. Hope doesn't disappear suddenly. It drains slowly, one disappointment at a time, one unanswered effort at a time, one silent night at a time, until one day you wake up and you don't even feel angry anymore. You just feel empty. That's the dangerous part, because anger still fights, pain still screams, but emptiness is quiet. And when hope is gone, silence gets loud. Your mind starts asking questions you don't know how to answer. What if this is it? What if I'm not meant for more? What if I gave everything for nothing? Those questions don't come to weak people. They come to people who cared deeply. Let me be clear. You didn't lose hope because you didn't want it bad enough. You lost hope because you expected effort to be rewarded quickly. And life doesn't work like that. Life tests belief before it rewards it. It tests patience before it gives progress. And sometimes it strips away hope to see what you're really made of. Because hope is external, but willpower is internal. Hope says, things will get better. Willpower says, even if they don't, I'll still move. And that's where you are right now. At the edge, where motivation doesn't work anymore. Where inspiration doesn't reach anymore. Where positive quotes feel empty. This is not the time for hype. This is the time for honesty. You don't need to feel strong right now. You don't need to feel confident. You don't need to feel hopeful. You just need to stay. Stay another day. Stay another hour. Stay long enough for the storm to pass through you. Because storms don't ask permission. They just come. And strong people don't escape storms. They survive them. Right now, your only job is not to quit permanently over a temporary feeling. Hope may be gone, but discipline is still available. Faith may feel empty, but effort still exists. Belief may be quiet, but action can still speak. And sometimes, action comes before hope returns. Let me say that again. Sometimes you don't move because you believe. Sometimes you believe because you moved. This moment, this low point, is not your ending. It's your reset. Because when hope is stripped away, excuses die with it. There's nothing left to protect, nothing left to impress. Only truth. And truth says this. If you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. Not to win today, not to succeed tomorrow, but to refuse to disappear. Because the darkest moments don't create quitters. They reveal survivors. And right now, even if you don't feel it, you're still here. That means something. Listen to me. This is the phase where nobody checks on you anymore. Not because they don't care, but because they think you're okay. You learned how to smile. You learned how to say, I'm good. You learned how to carry pain quietly. And that quiet starts to feel heavy. Because now it's not just disappointment. It's isolation. You're surrounded by people, but feel completely alone. Your phone is silent. Your circle is smaller. Your energy is low. And this is where hope really gets tested. Not in chaos, but in stillness. Stillness gives your thoughts a microphone. Every mistake plays louder. Every failure replays slower. Every what if hits harder. You start questioning your worth. Not your effort, your worth. You ask yourself, did I waste my time? Did I bet on the wrong dream? Did I believe in something that wasn't meant for me? And those questions don't show up randomly. They show up when you've given more than you received. This is what nobody tells you. Breakdowns don't always look dramatic. Sometimes they look like silence, like staring at a wall, like sitting in your car longer than necessary, like feeling tired even after rest. That's not laziness. That's emotional exhaustion. You've been strong for too long, without refilling yourself. And in this space, motivation won't save you. Inspiration won't reach you. You're past that. This is where something deeper has to take over. Not hope, not hype, choice. Because even when you feel broken, you still have choices. You can choose to disappear, or you can choose to stand quietly. Standing doesn't mean you feel confident. Standing doesn't mean you feel ready. Standing means you refuse to collapse. It means you get out of bed, even when the reason isn't clear. It means you take one step without knowing where it leads. It means you keep your standards, even when your emotions are unstable. That's strength. Not loud strength. Not visible strength. Internal strength. And let me tell you something important. This phase will reveal who you are without results, without praise, without progress. Just you and your character. Because character is not built when things are going well. Character is revealed when everything goes quiet and you still choose to show up. Most people quit here. Not loudly. They don't announce it. They slowly stop trying. They lower their expectations. They make peace with less. They call it acceptance. But deep down, it's surrender. And you know it. That's why this part hurts so much. Because you're standing at a line between survival and surrender. And here's the truth. Nobody can cross that line for you. No speech. No mentor. No video. It has to be you. Choosing to stand when you feel like collapsing. Choosing discipline when motivation is dead. Choosing consistency when results are invisible. This is not about believing things will work out. This is about deciding. You won't stop moving, even if they don't. And something strange happens when you make that decision. Nothing changes immediately. No miracle. No relief. But you change. You stop begging life for answers. You stop arguing with reality. You become grounded. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start saying, this is happening. What am I going to do next? That shift is powerful because now you're not waiting for hope. You're creating stability. Stability through routine, through structure, through showing up, without emotion leading the way. This is how people rebuild, not with excitement, not with confidence, but with consistency under pressure. And I need you to hear this. Feeling hopeless does not disqualify you. Quitting does. As long as you're still standing, even quietly, your story is still unfolding. This moment is not your collapse. It's your test. And if you can stand here with nothing but willpower, you're stronger than you realize. Now listen carefully. This is the phase where nothing outside of you changes, but everything inside starts to shift. You're still tired. You're still behind. You're still unknown. But something is different now. You're no longer emotional about it. You don't complain as much. You don't explain as much. You don't seek validation as much. Because pain has taught you what motivation never could. You stop asking people for energy. They don't have to give. You stop expecting understanding from people who've never been tested. And quietly, you start building. Not for applause. Not for attention. For survival. This is where discipline replaces hope. Hope said, maybe things will get better. Discipline says, they will because I'm working. You wake up even when you don't feel like it. You move even when progress feels invisible. You repeat boring actions with ruthless consistency, and nobody sees it. No likes, no messages, no engagement. But that's okay now, because you've stopped performing for people who won't be there when you're bleeding. You're no longer chasing motivation. You're honoring commitments you made to yourself during your lowest moments. This is important. The strongest people are not loud. They're consistent. They don't announce growth. They don't document struggle. They execute silently. And this silence, it's not loneliness anymore. It's focus. You start protecting your energy. You say no more often. You walk away quicker. Not because you're bitter, but because distractions cost too much now. You know what it took to get back on your feet. You know how close you were to giving up. So now, you move differently. Your standards rise. Your patience increases. Your tolerance for excuses disappears. And slowly, very slowly, your identity changes. You stop seeing yourself as someone who's trying. You see yourself as someone who doesn't quit. That identity is dangerous. Because once you believe, you're the type of person who finishes what they start. You stop negotiating with weakness. You don't wait for perfect conditions. You don't wait to feel ready. You do the work. even when it feels pointless. And let me tell you something real. Progress at this stage doesn't feel good. It feels boring, repetitive, unrewarding. That's why most people never reach it. They want excitement. You chose endurance. They want fast results. You chose foundation. And foundations are built underground. Nobody claps for cement drying. Nobody cheers for brick stacking. But when the storm comes, only foundations matter. This is where resilience is locked in. Not because life got easier, but because you got harder to break. You don't panic like before. You don't spiral like before. You feel pressure, but it doesn't control you. You've been here before. You survived worse. And that memory becomes fuel. You realize something powerful. You don't need hope every day. You need systems. Sleep, routine, work, silence. That's how momentum returns. Quietly. And one day, without announcement, you notice you're stronger. Not louder. Not richer. Not famous. Stronger. And strength changes everything. Because now, even if hope disappears again, you know how to function without it. You've built a version of yourself that doesn't collapse when emotions fluctuate. And that version is dangerous because it can rebuild from zero as many times as necessary. This is not the end of your story. This is the part where your story becomes unrecognizable. To the people who doubted you, they won't understand how you changed. They won't see the nights. They won't feel the pressure. They'll just see the results and call it luck. Let them. You know the truth. You were forged when hope was gone and discipline remained. Listen closely. This is the moment people don't talk about. Not the fall, not the grind, the return. Because hope doesn't come back the way it left. It doesn't rush in. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't overwhelm you with emotion. It shows up quietly. One day you wake up and the weight feels lighter. The problems are still there, but they don't scare you anymore. You realize something has changed. Not your circumstances. You don't react the same. You don't panic the same. You don't doubt the same. Because you've already survived what you thought would destroy you. And that survival rewired you. Hope comes back, but now it's grounded. It's not wishful. It's not desperate. It's controlled. You no longer hope for miracles. You trust your process. You don't need reassurance. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You've proven something to yourself that nobody can take away. I can function in darkness. And once you know that, life becomes optional, not necessary. This is where confidence is born. Not the loud kind, the dangerous kind, the kind that doesn't argue, doesn't flex, doesn't explain. You move with certainty. You walk slower. You speak less. You listen more. Because you're no longer trying to be seen. You're building something that cannot be ignored. And people will notice. Not because you change your energy, but because your presence is heavier now. Your words carry weight. Your silence carries power. They won't know what happened to you. They'll say things like, "You seem different. You've changed. You're not the same." They're right. The version of you that needed hope to survive is gone. This version creates outcomes. You don't chase motivation anymore. You don't wait for inspiration. You execute, even on bad days, even when tired, even when bored, because you understand the truth now. Feelings are temporary. Standards are permanent. And here's the final lesson. Listen carefully. Losing all hope was not the end. It was the removal of illusion. It stripped you down to what actually matters. Work ethic, discipline, consistency, character. Everything else was noise. And now that hope is back, it works for you, not the other way around. You don't rely on it. You lead it. So when life tests you again, and it will, you won't collapse. You won't beg. You won't ask, "Why me?" You'll say, "I've been here before." And you'll move forward without drama, without delay, without fear, because you're no longer built on hope. You're built on proof. Proof that you can fall apart and rebuild yourself from nothing. And that makes you unstoppable.